Hello?
Dylan, Dylan, it's Ray, bro. We need to talk about crunch in the game industry.
Okay.
Like, all right. So the thing that's been getting me lately is you've probably noticed that Cyberpunk 2077 just got delayed,
Yeah,
and
heard about that.
yeah, and Cyberpunk. Everybody knows about Cyberpunk. It's probably the most anticipated game, honestly, in recent memory. The
Yeah.
level of hype surrounding this game, bro, is fucking like it's incredible.
Yeah, I'm not gonna
Just
lie.
completely.
I'm not gonna lie, I don't know anything about the game, but I know it's got a lot of hype and it's made by the Witcher guys, so it must CD Project Red, so it must be good.
Well, the thing is CD Project Red in this like world of AAA gaming, like in the world full of Destinies or 2Ks where it's always cut and paste or copy and paste, it's the
Right.
same shit as last time, or it's a games as a service title where you're promised all this bullshit that, like the game's gonna be alive for years to come, but then it releases a broken, buggy mess, and you're supposed to then eat the BS lie that, oh, it'll get better as it goes. It's
Right.
supposed to release broken.
The
You
alpha
you know what I
strategy, but
mean?
it's a full game, yeah. Mm-hmm.
Yeah, like they have people playing for betas and told to just suck it up, and then they every company releases that bullshit apology. We hear you and we're sorry.
Yeah.
We expect better of ourselves. And then they do it again. And then they do it again. It's
Yep.
like fool me once, shame on you. Fool me twice, you know?
Sure.
Like
Or it's the
oh,
ambiguous, oh, it's delayed for polish, which I believe is this case.
honestly, yeah. So this case is delayed for polish. And here's the thing. In a world full of AAA games that kind of and AAA games as a service, CD Project Red stands as the house on the hill, the beacon on the hill. You know what I mean?
Right.
It's that company that you want to you expect other companies to do. And when I hear we're delaying it again, this is the third time, mind you, and it's only 3 weeks. That's not terrible,
Yeah, that's not too
but
bad. I
I'll
think
get.
Final Fantasy Crystal Chronicles, when it got delayed, it was like a couple months.
Yeah. I mean, it's been delayed a couple months now over and over. And then the big thing I think that's kind of getting people is, like the game was delayed. It was delayed today, is when everyone found out. Today being October 27th, 2020. And then every say again.
Oh, I didn't say anything.
Oh yeah. Oh sorry. So like the game was delayed October 27th, 2020, but it was just told yesterday, October 26th, 2020, that they just released their tweet like, oh, there's no way this game's gonna get delayed again. It'll be like a natural disaster or an act of God.
Or worse,
to
2020.
like 2020 is like a biblical thing in itself. But so like people were like pretty hyped. People have been taking vacation days and stuff around this game. That's how hype it is. People are taking their time off from work, from making a living to just play this game. So the hype is serious around it. And
Right.
I'm not faulting 2020 because they've been very pro consumer. Like I know you might not have been following it as much, but I've been like up on this game's like dick
Yeah,
hardcore. I
I've
don't care.
heard they've been very transparent compared to other like other development companies, but yeah, I mean not only is it like affecting, like people, like you said, people taking work off of it and stuff off of, whoa, people taking work off of it for stuff. But it's also affecting the industry because Factorio actually released their 1.0 early because they didn't want the launch to interfere with 2077 or vice versa. So it's not only like
Oh
individual
my!
people; it's like the whole industry.
I mean this fall of releases is about to be fucking intense. We got Assassin's Creed Valhalla. We got a lot of big punchers coming out. I think there's a new Call of Duty. I'm not an FPS player, guys, so Like you know what I mean, Dylan? I'm not an FPS player.
Sure.
Don't fault me on it. But
I don't
I think
blame you.
there's a whole bunch of shit. But the only game I gave a fuck about was Cyberpunk. I think even Mass Effect was gonna have a re-release, but then they pushed that shit back because I think they're about to release like all the whole trilogy with like new game modes and shit, and then they pushed it back for like to meet their standards. But it's fucking EA. What standards EA? But that's a whole nother thing to get into. We're talking about a Cyberpunk right now, and more specifically, we're talking about crunch. So crunch. When I say that, I mean like crunch time. Like it in the game industry. There's a big issue going on right now where developers are being pushed to work long, hard hours. Like some of these, do you know who Jason Schreier is?
No.
Okay, he's a guy who works at Kotaku. He's a pretty dope. He's a pretty dope. Journalist. He actually goes in and he gets big stories and he's not afraid to write out the big stories. There's a whole bunch of other controversies going on with him, and that is what it is. But like, I still respect his work, and I don't want his work to get lost in whatever other people have to say because his work is proven and it's proved itself. And he's done a lot of exposés on a lot of AAA industries. And the big thing that we're finding amongst other companies like BioWare, uh, not Cyberpunk, CD Project Red, Naughty Dog, like a lot of big companies is crunch, where you'll have a lot of employees or developers saying just horror stories where they're being forced to work 100-hour weeks,
Oh my
or
god.
they're just like, you know what I mean? Just terrible shit. Like they're not seeing their family. They're having nervous breakdowns.
Right.
There's no instruction coming from the top side. So all the deck plate workers are just doing shit like they're doing meaningless work. They're putting hours into watching get scrapped and thrown away, or getting their just work piled up and up and up while the
Right.
game release is around the corner. Now, CD Projekt Red isn't as bad as things that happened for BioWare. Just a quick recap. If those who don't know about Anthem, you know Anthem, right? That 2019 release. That was 2019. That was a year ago. Feels like forever. But you know about Anthem?
I know it was like really competitive with. It was like a battle royale that was competitive with like another battle royale or something. I never really played
Oh,
it.
not even close.
That's all I got.
I mean, that's how. But honestly, that's great because that's how unforgettable Anthem is.
Yeah.
Like, Anthem was a games as a service title, but it wasn't a battle royale. It was like a think Destiny, but you're in an Iron Man mech suit and you can fly around and do all this shit, right?
Okay.
Well, Jason did an expose that like it was like the development in the game was supposedly started in 2015. We were shown, and don't quote me on the dates. Like I'm like talking off the top of my head here, but I
Sure.
know like we saw the game years in advance before launch, right? And apparently the developers were working on it for quite some time before it came out, but like none of them knew what the fuck they were doing when they revealed the game at E3. I think it was E3 2017 or 2016. Like don't quote me, but when they revealed the game, the developers were seeing what the game was going to be about along with everyone else. Like
Very good.
that's just how terrible the management can be in these games. And like if you read it's an older expose, it's an older story now, but if you read it, it's just kind of, and Naughty Dog just recently had one with The Last of Us 2. But if you just like look into this stuff, you'll find that there are people having like nervous breakdowns, people like leaving the industry because it just chews them up and burns them out and throws them to the winds.
Right.
And it's pretty brutal. And I the thing is that the reason I want to talk about crunch with you right now, and I had to call you because I was just feeling so just mad, like because I have a lot of emotions right now because I've been looking forward to this game a lot,
Right.
and I'm pretty
Oh
frustrated.
well, actually, you know, yeah. Speaking of strong feelings, I read an article that the developer of 2077 had to release like a public statement begging people not to send death threats because of the delay. So
Okay,
like,
that's fucking ridiculous,
right, dude?
That's ridiculous.
It's
It's a
insane.
video game.
It reminds me a lot of like, you know, I don't want to say too much. I don't want to spoil if you haven't played it. But Last of Us 2 with Abby, Her
Oh,
actress was getting a lot of death threats too, and then the actor for Joffrey Baratheon back in the day, like it's there's one thing to be like upset about it. There's another thing to be just totally over the edge and like calm down. It's a game, man.
yeah, it's a game, and that's people taking things too far. They need to relax
Yeah,
because it's not that. I mean, it's not that serious. End of the day, it's a video game. And we're a gaming channel. I love games. You love games, and like it's a big hobby of mine. It's been a hobby of mine my entire life.
yeah,
First console was a Sega. Okay, that's me dating myself a little bit
yeah.
there.
Jeez,
But anyways,
N64, bro.
but like that's stupid. When I say I feel strongly about it is I'm frustrated because I really wanted to play it, but then at the same time, I'm always complaining about unfinished games, half-baked games, half-assed
True, yeah.
games.
Hmm.
So a company like CD Projekt Red with a proven track record of being helpful to like not helpful, being consumer friendly,
Right.
like releasing dope ass DLC. Do you remember the DLC for The Witcher? They were better than the actual game,
Nah,
and the actual game was the shit.
yeah, I still haven't actually played The Witcher, man. I'm trying. I got a backlog.
Dude, I feel your Steam library is pretty awesome, and also kind of it increases my anxiety. Too many options.
I'm kind of right there.
But
with you.
like I don't know, like they have a lot of consumer friendly options, like a lot of I don't know. I trust CD. I don't trust them. They're a business, and I feel
Sure.
like you should never trust a business because end of the day, all they want is your money.
Fair.
But I feel like they've done right by us more than they've done wrong. So when I feel like when they're saying they want to polish a game, I feel like us as the gaming community that's always complaining and getting mad and coming up in arms with pitchforks and torches about unfinished games, I feel like it's a little hypocritical on our part to then like don't get me wrong, people who are frustrated have every right to be frustrated because it's been delayed 3 times and people are taking vacation time, they're taking time out of their lives to enjoy
Yeah.
something that's coming their
I
way.
mean, at the end of the day,
And
they're
that's
spending
fair.
money on it. Yeah. You know.
Right, but at the end of the day, I would rather well it was the old creator of Nintendo, and I can't say his name because I can't think of it right now, and I'm gonna fuck the quote up. But he said something along the lines of, "A delayed game is eventually good, but a rushed game will always be bad," or
Right.
something along those lines. And I feel with that because I just released a review on Fallout 76 as you saw,
Yeah.
or you're at the channel with me, and the game has made a lot of progress, but it will always, forever have that shadow of like the launch with it. Like another Bethesda online game I play, what's made by ZeniMax, which is now owned by Microsoft, but that's a whole nother topic, is Elder Scrolls Online. Elder Scrolls Online is a phenomenal MMO, but there are people to this day who will not touch it because of the launch. And like I ask them, have you played it? They'll go, no, I heard it was terrible. And the things they'll say is because of the launch. And you can't fault them. The game should have released finished.
Right. It's
So
the kind of related to the No Man's Sky problem.
No Man's Sky will always have that over it too. Like
Yeah.
now it's kind of changed its image around. Like if someone says it pulled a No Man's Sky, it's no longer they ripped you off. It's like, oh, they ripped you off and then they came back around to make good on their promise.
Well,
Which
yeah, they rip you off at first and then charge it for the full price once it's done again.
Right,
Basically.
and that's bullshit. Like that. See, you see what I'm saying though? Like that I get that it's a rabbit hole. We got to stay focused because you know me. You know I will go down that rabbit hole, bro.
Oh yeah.
But what I'm trying to say though is it's a little hypocritical on the gaming community to first, as I said earlier, all the anger and the frustration, I can understand it. Death threats, fuck you. If you're
Right.
sending people death threats, video games, suck a dick.
Yeah.
Or unless like
calm down.
yeah,
You
just
already
relax.
waited a couple of years. What was the first demo I read was like released in 2018. You've already waited almost 3 years. What's another 3 weeks?
It's been longer than that, dude. It's been almost a decade. No, it's
Yeah.
been a decade. Like they released like footage of this. Like this shit was like announced before The Witcher 3
Yeah.
came out. So it's been a hot minute. And don't get me wrong, like that of course, like, you know, they have to take a break to work on The Witcher and all that stuff, so it's not like that is all been purely dedicated to this game. But like, this game's been in the works for a while. The
Yeah.
hype is real. I feel it. I understand it. But like, I also feel it's hypocritical of us as a community to always complain about unfinished, rushed, buggy games, and then to get mad when a company takes the time to delay it and then work on it and then eventually make it better.
Yeah.
Like, because I'll tell you right now, if I were to open Cyberpunk 2070, I can't. My heart can't take another 76 release, bro. Like,
Or
dog, when I
agony.
played 76 for the first time, dude, like remember I got the beta, dude. You
Yeah.
remember? I
Yeah.
went up to my room, I opened that shit up, and then the first thing I opened it up. I went to my room, I downloaded the beta on my PS3 or PS4, and then I started playing it, and it was like 6 minutes in, I was like, oh shit, this is the game releases in a month.
Yeah.
Oh fuck, and then
At that point, it's printed on discs.
it's basically it's and you know, I just my heart can't take anymore because I bought into Fault 76, and the reason I think 76 got me is, well, I'm trying to warn people not to be fanboys of Cyberpunk, or not Cyberpunk, CD Project Red, is because I was a Bethesda could do no harm type of
Yeah.
person, you know. And then that was a wake up call that I think I needed, was that, oh, companies are companies, they just want money, and whether they're very friendly to us, they're still in it for the buck. And again, I do want to clarify. I'm okay with their move. I'm frustrated. I'm annoyed that
Hmm.
they're delaying it again. But at the same time, I understand and I respect it. That being said, the big thing I want to talk about with CD Projekt Red is crunch, as I explained earlier, which is just overworking their people.
Yeah.
So earlier, like last year, they've had crunch issues before. They had a crunch expose about The Witcher, where it was just same thing, people panicking and not seeing their families, coming home, going to work, coming home, going to work, working 6 to 7 days a week, working weekends, and it's kind of disgusting. And I, the problem with this is that when EA or someone who's just fucked people over a lot does something like crunch, everyone's on the developer side. It's instant, like, you know, like, everyone's like, that's fucked up, you shouldn't do it. But when CD Projekt Red does it, which is an amazing company, they've done great things, and I don't want this to sound like I'm hating on them, it's almost like people are just quietly brushing the developers under the rug.
Yeah.
Like, just get back to work. Your company's, you know what I mean? It's
Right.
almost like they have to pull a Bethesda level fuck up like that to really get heat coming their way. Which I don't want heat going their way. I do want to clarify there, but I do feel kind of bad because I feel like there is a lack of empathy from the community going towards crunch or going toward developers. And I'm sorry if I'm talking too much. Like, feel free to chime in. I just had to get this off my chest with you,
I hear you.
giggity. But like, the first big thing is, so I'm a veteran, as you know, and as many people who've been with us would know. I'm a veteran. I served 5 years in the Navy, and the one big thing about being I was at sea the whole time. Like, not at sea the whole time, but I was on sea duty, so
Right. Right.
I was on ship the whole time. And a big thing about life on board that made it hard was, my first ship was the USS Denver, and the big thing that made life hard on there was I had a very small watch team. We were a port and starboard watch, which meant we were 6 on and 6 off. We eventually moved to like it was 6 on, 6 off, 6 on, 6 off. So I'd stand 6 hours of watch, and then I'd go off for 6 hours,
Okay.
and then
Okay.
I'd stand 6 more hours of watch, and then off. Same thing as it goes, but it wasn't off time. Wasn't really off time. So after I would stand watch, I would then get off, and then I would have to go do my maintenance for the day, or I'd have to go clean something, or I'd have to go to a meeting or a training lesson or something like that. So my off time was really more along the lines of uh like maybe an hour or 2 hours, and it became kind of a rule where you can shower and eat, you can eat and sleep, or you can sleep and shower. It was like those type of things. You couldn't do all three, and you kind of had to rush through one of them.
Okay.
And that was kind of the lifestyle. And it breaks you down. Like, I may not be a game developer, and I may not be able to understand what crunch as a developer feels like, but I've been crunched before. I've been on crunch time before to meet deadlines for someone above me who gives me random BS projects to do just to kill time, and come to find out that the whole project didn't mean anything in the long run, and all I did was just waste my it's enough to make you go crazy. One of my good friends, I watched him pull his hair out of his head. Like,
Oh,
he had
no.
such a nervous dog. He had such a nervous breakdown one day. He like just started laughing and pulled the hair out of his head and started banging his head against the wall, dog.
Oh my
Like,
god.
I was legitimately nervous for him, and this happens all the time. So, and it happens all the time, and that's just something I wanted to talk about. But and so, like, people who aren't game developers should be able to go with crunch, because remember when we worked at the pot shop at the pot shop,
Yeah.
where there were times where we did the 420 day. Do you remember that?
Oh yeah, dude. I mean, my first 420 there was 2 weeks after I was hired, so it was
Oh
pretty
my
intense.
god, that's like, so as I'm saying, it's like so many people can, I feel like, should be able to empathize with it. If you worked on holiday season as a cashier, or just at like any like a convenience store or something like that, you know what it's like to be crunched, and you
Yeah.
know how terrible that is. Well, these developers are putting in 100-hour weeks. These are some serious hours. Not all of them. You know, these are some people who come forward and they've put it out that way, to Jason and to other people. I don't have any contacts. These are just the news outlets I'm reading and that I'm finding. I'll drop some links in the chat, not in the chat, in the comment section, and whatnot. But the thing that I just kind of feel that needs to be talked about. But everyone can kind of talk and complain about crunch, right? But my question is, how do we fix it? Because crunch, I feel like it's a cultural issue.
True. Yeah.
It,
Well, I mean, in part economics, it's that great old head of capitalism bringing its head back, and you know because I'm sure that the
right.
developers getting pressured by the producers that put the money in, and if they don't meet the deadline and start selling the game, they ain't making money. And at the end of the day,
Right.
that's all the producers really want. But
Right. Yeah, it's the profit over people, and it seems like we're at this weird place in gaming right now, where if it's not the consumer getting fucked over, it's the developers. And
right.
then what we see is these talented developers just leave the industry and they just never return. So the industry in a return takes a hit. They just kind of get ground up and kicked to the side,
Yeah.
and that's kind of a shame. And but
Well, and
like,
one thing, especially with with 2077, that I feel like is gonna kind of scratch some people's heads is I feel like a couple of days before this delay was announced, there was an article that I read about how the developer mentioned that they had stripped some of the content that they were originally going to have, right? But he pointed out that this isn't always a bad thing. It doesn't mean that the game isn't going to be finished. Just sometimes when you're making a game, you have a certain vision and then you have to reduce the scope, or you try something and it doesn't work. I think the thing I read was like wall running or something like that.
yeah,
You,
stripped
you
out.
you have an idea, and then when you try and actually code it out or render it or whatever you do with video games, it just doesn't work, or it doesn't work with other things that you put into it. And one company that did that, it was kind of like famous for it, was I believe it's called Introversion Software. The people who made Prison Architect, they were originally making this game that was like kind of an open world, like hacking counterterrorism game kind of thing. And they had all these systems for like alarm panels and electrics and kind of doing all these things. But they realized after making it that all of these mechanics that they've spent years adding in can be completely subverted by picking up a gun and shooting the terrorists or something. So it made, yeah, so it's like, well, why would you spend so much time doing all these other very difficult things when you can just finish it like that? But because of that,
Right.
they completely scrapped that game, And what they did was they actually took a lot of the mechanics and ideas they already had and made prison architect out of it with, you know, stuff like laying down the pipes and manipulating the wires for like CCTVs and, you know, and stuff like that. So just because something is like, you know, like you know, the developer said, cut or whatever, doesn't mean that the game is going to be less full. It could just be that it was something that wasn't, that, like you said, it just wasn't polished. It wasn't, you know, to the quality that they were expecting, and so they decided to get rid of it.
Right. I mean, could you oh my god, I just thought, could you imagine like tomorrow morning we wake up and CD Projekt Red just straight up like scrap Cyberpunk 20? Oh my god. That might set off the apocalypse right there. That might be the final straw that just sets the 2020 pandemonium just into overdrive, dog.
Right.
Oh
well,
my.
that would be amazing.
Like they just fuck it. We'll just try it again. We'll see you in 2030. Oh my god, that'd be I don't even know. I don't even know what I would do. But I'm sorry. But no, it's polish is good. It's kind of, we're at this weird place as to how do we answer crunch though, you know? I don't know. A lot of people are like, we're gonna boycott the game and we're not gonna buy it or do any of this. But then all these developers who worked hard on this, they're expecting the reason. One of the things that CD Projekt is trying to make us to kind of shut the fuck up about the crunch on their developers is that they're all getting big ass some of them 6-figure salary bonuses. You know what I mean?
Right.
And like, that's some good money coming their way. But
Sure.
at what cost? At what fucking cost? Like their sanity, time away from their families. And I know they're not an American company, so like I know like the grind on them isn't the same as us, because like other where is it? Poland?
Poland, yeah.
Is he? Yeah. So I know like their work laws and shit are probably a lot more like protective of people than ours here in the States. But like still, crunch is crunch in my opinion. Working 6-day weeks and all that shit. It like I don't know.
It takes
They've
a toll
been
for sure.
Say again.
It takes a toll for sure. You know, whether you're in Poland or America, you're still a human with a human brain, and the human brain gets tired, man.
Right. And the thing that makes me nervous here, right, is kind of people's indifference to it. It's kind of like when so Justin Schreier or like Schreier, it's not private. Like when he releases his exposés, a big thing he'll always talk about is crunch on these things, and everyone kind of backed him. But it was weird with Cyberpunk and CD Projekt Red when he released it on them. It was like a weird backlash at him.
Yeah.
Like how, like it honestly has me scared making this with you as a small channel, because it's like, oh no, whoops. But you know, it's a truth. It's something that needs to be said. I feel like I'm not being inflammatory toward CDPR. As I said again, as far as AAA companies go, they're the lighthouse on the hill. They're the beacon that I wish more companies would strive to be for.
Right.
But it's kind of sad because it's like the podium swings either against the developers or it swings against us, the consumer. And I'm just kind of wondering, is there a happy middle ground? Like, what would you think would be a happy middle ground that we could see?
Well, so actually, like one thing, the other reason I was thinking about introversion software is because they are very well known for, almost famous for, kind of almost perfecting the early backer, like alpha, beta kind of structure for Prison Architect, because they will release monthly update videos with whatever the mechanic they were working on, and usually they would limit it to one kind of mechanic per month or whatever. So then they would have kind of a crunch, a smaller crunch per month, but it breaks it up, and it keeps that transparency that CD Projekt Red seems to value, because you're literally releasing updates every month about what's new in the game and how it's interacting with everything else. Unfortunately, we a lot of people, a lot of companies have completely compromised the trust of consumers with how they've treated buying into a beta, or in Fallout 76's case, calling it a beta when really what you meant is a break early test assessment or whatever they called it. So I don't know. That could be like one way that companies can get around it, but yeah, I don't know.
I feel like we've just been traumatized as a community. It kind of, you kind of touched on it. Like, we as a community, we've been, what they're doing is pro consumer right here. Pushing it back is still like for polish, because I do believe, I kind of err on the side of belief with them on this.
Yeah.
And I might come to eat words, but I do believe they are pushing it back to polish it. But what kind of gets me on it is we as a community, we're so just traumatized that we don't even know that we're being treated well right now.
Right.
We're so used to being fucked over that like we're being treated well. Like we've been dating that person that's just like a cheating douchebag who's always lying to us, and you'll come over their house and then they got another person in their bed, and you're looking right at them, but they'll tell you you're crazy and make you seem like the psychopath. And then now, like,
Some
CD
quality
Projekt Red,
gaslighting.
you know what I mean? CD
Yeah.
Projekt Red is like that person who's like, they'll cook you meals, or they'll take you out on dates, or and you just don't know how to handle it. We're damaged. We're
Right.
hurt. We gotta like tear these walls down.
But we got
But yeah.
no choice but to trust them because they got the they got the keys to the kingdom.
Well, the thing that I'm a little nervous for them now is people are about to be extremely nitpicky now because
Yeah.
they've pushed it back. Here's the issue. They've been so transparent about themselves that because they've been transparent, like you were talking about how they took out wall running and shit. Well, the kind of, I guess, a negative to being transparent is people will see things that they think are dope, but when you have a game being transparently being developed for like almost a decade, or like for we've really started getting like real ideas about the game since 2018. So like, but when you start to see a game that's being developed for so long and you see things that get taken out, that would have happened with or without us knowing.
Right.
It's just because it's transparent, we got to see it, and then now it feels like they're stripping shit out, but I don't think that's a fair thing to say. But because they're being so transparent with us, the audience, about delays and pushbacks, and they're doing it for polish, which I think I love the communication. But because they keep doing it, and because they pushed it back when the game was like what 30 days away, like a month out,
Yeah. Something like that.
like less than a month out, they pushed it back. The thing that's gonna really get people is now they're gonna expect perfection, in my opinion. People are gonna walk to this shit, bro. If one motherfucking NPC in like have you seen like the crowds? They have some really impressive crowd rendering, and I promise you, if one person clips through something, if any tiny bug that would have just been forgiven, or you just kind of look the other way, like tilt your camera till that bug is out the view to keep at it, like, nah, bro. Expect pictures. And that's another thing I'm scared of. I'm kind of scared of these developers who are apparently getting crunched, are gonna like release the game to an audience of people who are just extremely just anal about everything.
Right. If there's one pixel out of place, you'll hear about it from me.
Oh, bro, and there are people like that though, and you know it. But like, there are gonna be people being like that who aren't even normally like that, and
Yeah.
it's just people are.
And I mean, with an open world game, especially of the scope that it sounds like this game is going to have, there's inevitably going to be launch bugs. It's just would be more incredible if they didn't have any.
And that's what makes me nervous, because this game is extremely it's very innovative. It's bringing a lot of new things. Like, I know you haven't looked up much about it, but did you ever play Dragon Age Origins?
I believe so. Yeah. Do
you remember how like you had like origin stories at the beginning of the game, and that kind of depicted how the story unfolded?
Yeah.
Or dictated how the story unfolded. Well, that's happening here in this game, in this big ass open world game. There are backstories your character can play through, and there's like a whole bunch of shit you can do. But I'm not going to talk too much about that because that's getting off the point. But like they're doing a lot of things here in the game, like stuff that's been done. Apparently, like you can look in a mirror and see your reflection. I can't remember where I heard
Nice,
that.
nice.
I'm a find where I
Literally,
read that.
literally the only other thing I heard about the game was that you, and I don't know if this is still true because they did get a lot of pushback for it. Was that you can choose your genitalia?
Oh yeah, dude, you
Yeah,
can customize your schlong
yeah.
or
Which
your
I mean,
lips.
you know,
What I'm
for
talking
like
about.
for you know, getting increased like representation and stuff, like, you know, that's a bold move, but I mean, and some people might say it goes too far, but you know, if it makes
Fuck.
if it makes trans people feel like, you know, they're more have a more representation, more space in the industry, more you know, awareness and visuality, then I'm all for it, man.
Yeah, the game comes under weird heat sometimes, and that's me getting on. I don't want to go too deep into it because that's gonna take me down. You know,
Another rabbit
another
hole.
big rabbit hole.
Yeah, I mean,
But
we'll see it
they
what,
go to the
December
point where
10th.
they're saying it's racist to black people, but
Right.
they rolled a cyber. But the guy who created Cyberpunk is a black dude, and
Yeah.
I'm a black dude, and it was a white dude who wrote it, and he was trying to tell me how to feel about black people in games. And anyways, I'm not
Right.
see I was already starting down it. Like anyway,
I know that's a whole,
anyways,
and I, you know, and I think, yeah, brief, really quickly, you know, um, like you saw that, and I think the writer said something about how in this cyberpunk world, like that kind of stuff doesn't matter, which is like, you know, very Afro-futuristic and just kind of par for the
I was
course.
just about to say that.
Yeah.
Yeah. Well, you know, those are my 2 cents on it. Do you have anything else you kind of add to the topic?
uh, I mean, I don't know. Again, I don't know like jack shit about the game, which is kind of on purpose, but um, I don't know. I think people just need to calm down. You know, these people, the people like freaking out about this delay, which again, you know, 3 weeks is not that bad compared to like how long some other games have been delayed. They just these people just haven't been around for like Kingdom Hearts 2. You know.
Oh,
Um,
oh, no, sorry, I didn't mean to scream. I didn't mean to scream.
yeah.
That actually just
No, watch.
PTSD just hit really fucking hard right there.
Yeah, no, to watch 2070 Cyberpunk 2077 is going to get delayed by like another couple of years, and we'll get 2075 and then 2076 and then 2076.5 and then, you know, etc etc. But
2070 Birth by Sleep. Oh my god.
yeah, but I mean, I don't know. I feel like, you know, on the developer side, it's hard because, yeah, you know, everyone's got a job, and the only hope I would have is that, yeah, you know, it, and maybe this will kind of accomplish this because of how big, you know, of a game this is. It'll just bring more awareness to just kind of keeping your workers like mental health and mental sanity kind of, you know, in check, or offer the help that they need, or especially, you know, if they're gonna like do the work, they deserve financial compensation more than, you know, their kind of base pay or whatever. And you know, it just has to do it just has to do with how corporations and businesses and various economic systems kind of value the work of their people and their well-being and whatnot. But, you know, profit, you know, like you said, profits over people. But, you know, and again, CD Projekt Red does seem to be on the spectrum of profits and people, kind of, you know, better on the side of the people. But at the end of the day, they're a business, and they, you know, they got certain practices and whatnot. But I don't know, man.
Right. Because the decision could have been more. Because I just read. I'm kind of looking at Twitter right now, and I'm reading tweets from randoms, so I don't know what's verified or not. But someone's saying that the developers found out about this alongside us. So the
Oh,
developers didn't even know about the delay until and that's kind of what I'm getting on. It's communication might be well between the company to us, but it's sure as fuck not good between the company and its workers.
right.
And that's something that will cause an anxiety attack. That's something that causes a panic attack. That's crazy. And you know, if by any odd chance that a CD Projekt Red developer happened to find us and this big ass YouTube world, which it's very unlikely. For whatever it means, at least me, thank you for your work. Keep your head up. I'm sorry. I don't know what to tell you. If I could tell him anything, I would say, just thank you for the work you do. And I know it's a hard road, and I know that shit's difficult, and I wish you the best. And that's honestly what I can say from my heart. I don't want to say keep your head up, it'll get better, champ, type of thing, that that doesn't mean anything to me. But what I will say is thank you, because they're putting work in for our entertainment.
Oh yeah,
And
and I mean, in like in 3 or 4, like 3 weeks or 4 weeks or whatever, once the game is out and people played it, like people won't even remember that it was delayed 3 weeks. It'll just be it's out, and then that's it. And everyone making a big hullabaloo about it will hopefully feel a little silly, unless they did death threats, and then I hope they feel stupid.
yeah. Well, these are our thoughts, guys. Tell us what you think about this whole situation in the comment section below. If you liked this video at all, if you liked anything, go ahead and drop a like. And if you want to join us on the couch for more discussions, for Let's Plays and game reviews, go ahead and hit that subscribe button. Join us on the couch. You can sit between Dylan and myself, and we'll give you the popcorn bowl. That's a pretty cool job to have. We won't force you to have it. Only thing that'll be crunched there is the corn of pop. You see what I did there?
I have no
Dylan?
idea. What?
Oh my god. Was that bad? That bad? Oh, okay. We're running with it. We're running with it. But anyways, guys, thanks for sticking with us this video. My name's Ray.
No, I'm Dylan.
Oh my god. And we out.